They said he was hype. They said he was a surname. They said the league would humble him in 5 minutes. Then the lights came on in Charlotte. The pocket squeezed. And the kid wrote his name in NFL ink in his very first half of pro football. Shedeur Sanders faced the Panthers' speed, the league's doubt, and the weight of a last name people love to measure. But he answered with touch, timing, and 2 daggers to the same receiver, Caden Davis. The buzzer sounded on the second quarter, and the haters had nothing left but moving goalposts. Tonight wasn't about a surname. It was about ball placement, calm under fire, and the kind of control that turns a preseason audition into a quarterback conversation. And if you think this is just August fluff, ask yourself, if he'd stunk, would the timelines be quiet or would they be dancing? Exactly. Let's talk about how Shedeur flipped the room, silenced the noise, and made QB1 sound a little less hypothetical and a lot more inevitable. Before we continue, the Shedeur Sanders jersey giveaway is still on. I'm giving away 5 jerseys in honor of Shedeur lighting it up today, with the winner announcement on August 21st. The Cleveland Browns traded up to grab Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, number 144 overall. 5th round, not first. Not a franchise coronation, just a flyer. If you listen to the loudest voices, that became the rallying cry, maybe a project, maybe a package gadget, maybe a jersey seller. Then camp started and the reality check hit. Joe Flacco was set as the veteran stabilizer. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel took early reps, and that left Shedeur battling perceptions as much as cover shells. Injuries hit the room, hamstrings on Pickett and Gabriel. So the Browns handed Shedeur the Week 1 preseason start and told him to own the night with newly added Tyler Huntley ready in reserve and Flacco in a ball cap. That is not a gift. It's a timer, because when the reps get rationed next week, the tape decides who eats. Shedeur didn't need a hype machine, he needed a window. Tonight, he jumped through it. The first series was exactly what defensive coordinators wanted. Conservative calls, compressed space, a clean punt. That's the moment when a young quarterback can shrink, start aiming, pressing, or overthinking. Instead, chaos knocked on the door from the other sideline. Carolina's return game coughed up the football, and the Browns fell on it at the Panthers' 10. Short field, red zone, nowhere to hide. This is where narratives crack. Does the rookie flinch and float something late? Or does he lean into his reads, trust his feet, and let the ball go on time? Shedeur chose the latter. Cleveland dialed up the kind of call that puts the quarterback on the move and demands a calm wrist more than a cannon. He rolled, stacked his shoulders, and put a professional throw on the line. 7 yards later, the scoreboard blinked, and the noise turned to buzz. Opportunity doesn't usually knock twice in August. You answer or you vanish. He answered, and what came next made the haters even quieter. You can sell 1,000 draft takes, but you can't fake ball placement from the far hash on a rollout. On the first scoring play, Shedeur's base stayed compact, the release stayed quick, and the ball arrived where only Caden Davis could claim it. That's not adrenaline. That's craft. It's the detail that separates a nice story from an NFL quarterback. Watch it back and you'll see his eyes snap to the flat defender, hold the hook curl just long enough, then knife the ball through before the window narrows. That's processing. That's patience. That's a young quarterback refusing to let the moment speed him up. That throw told the sideline, the booth, and every living room watching he's not a tourist. He's there to run the show. It also told the defense they couldn't just flood the box and dare him to beat tight space, because he just did. One score in, and suddenly the kid everyone labeled a brand had tape, not talk, swinging the room. But you don't rock your haters with one single punch. Then came the drive that turned the debut into a statement. 5 plays, about 60 yards. Shedeur operating like a veteran on a 2-minute script. The highlight was a 30-yard rainbow on the move. Touch dropped in a bucket. Snatched with a one-handed flourish by Lake Floria down the right boundary. That's where arm talent meets rhythm. That's where off-platform footwork becomes a weapon instead of a bailout. Carolina tightened its splits in the red area to take away the first throw, but Shedeur didn't blink. He worked the progression, found what he wanted, and finished the series with another strike to Caden Davis, this time from 12 yards out. It wasn't brute force. It was nerve control. That sequence put Cleveland up, the Panthers on their heels, and every loud opinion from April on ice. You don't stumble into that series, you command it. And when a rookie commands a series in August, coaches lean forward. Reps change after drives like that. Depth charts wobble, locker rooms notice, and the numbers at halftime told their own story. At halftime, SHEDEUR sat at 11 of 18 for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding about 19 yards rushing, and the Browns walked into the tunnel up 14-7. That's not a sugar high, that's sustained execution across multiple series. The ball came out on time. The red zone didn't swallow him. He answered pressure with movement, not panic. And when the yardage shrank, his accuracy sharpened. If you came in expecting fireworks and broken plays, you watched a quarterback manage chaos and manufacture clean throws. That's the thing that separates August heroes from September starters. Repeatable mechanics and decisions that look the same under heat. And yes, it's the preseason that cuts both ways. Because if he'd sailed those throws or thrown something reckless into traffic, you would have heard a chorus about being overmatched. The same people don't get to downshift his success because it doesn't fit their script. Meanwhile, the internet was catching fire. Phones lit up. Deion Sanders didn't play coy, he posted yes. Oh yes. The moment his son's first NFL touchdown found the paint. And when the second one dropped, he came right back with, oh yeah, what now? Hashtag Coach Prime. That's not just a proud dad, that's a Hall of Famer saying clock it. Then LeBron James added his own spotlight, praising SHEDEUR's composure and stomping out the narrative that it's only preseason. Translation, if failure counts, so does success. Those aren't throwaway posts. They are pressure absorbers. They move the conversation out of the echo chamber and into the mainstream, where coaches have to answer questions and film rooms start cutting clips for teaching tape. It all loops back to the huddle. Players feel when the building has momentum. Tonight, momentum war number 12. The clicks weren't fluff, they were context. SHEDEUR gave the city something real to react to, and the city definitely reacted. But the loudest message wasn't online, it was between the lines. Strip away the surnames and the sentiment and talk about quarterbacking. We saw timing in the flat, layered touch on the rainbow, control of pace on the red zone routes, and a refusal to let pressure rewire his feet. That's grown man football. We also saw a cultural moment. A young black quarterback, dismissed as a product of marketing, walks into his first NFL half and answers with craft, not chaos. The goalposts tend to move for quarterbacks who look like him. Flashy gets used where composed should live. Brand gets used where student belongs. Tonight, he hijacked those words. He didn't need circus scrambles to justify his spot. He needed decisiveness, calm eyes, and throws that travel. That's what he did. So keep the Nepo barbs and the lazy comps. Coaches aren't grading tweets, they're grading footwork, eyes, and ball placement. And on a night built for narratives to devour him, he turned them into fuel and made them follow the tape instead. That lingers in a locker room, which brings us to the Browns' next decision. Officially, the Browns will talk about process. Unofficially, reps are a currency, and SHEDEUR just printed some. Joe Flacco still wears the pencil crown for QB1. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel will re-enter the mix as their hamstrings calm down, and Tyler Huntley was added as insurance. But when coaches cut the next practice script, the rookie who just stacked 2 clean touchdown drives is getting a longer look. That means more scripted first-read throws, more play-action keepers, more chances to prove the deep over timing is real and the red zone sequencing wasn't a one-night bloom. He doesn't have to be a September starter tonight. He had to be undeniable enough to matter tomorrow. Mission accomplished. If he strings 2 more precise outings across August, the room stops feeling crowded and starts feeling like a competition he can actually win. Not because of a last name, but because of the tape. Here's the thing about August, it's supposed to expose you. It's supposed to take the shiny stories and scuff them up until only the truth remains. Tonight, the truth was simple. SHEDEUR Sanders didn't sell hope. He delivered execution. He took a shaky start and built drives. He turned a gift field position into a grown man throw. He engineered a signature series, dropped in a highlight reel moonshot, and cut a second score to the same target like he'd been there before. The numbers were clean. The eyes were steady. The building took notice. So when someone shrugs and says only preseason, treat it like what it is, a bad cover for a stale take. Because if this is the floor for a fifth-round rookie in his first look, what's the ceiling when the call sheet expands and the chemistry crystallizes? Tonight in Charlotte, the volume finally went down. Haters can't say anything when the film says QB.